Hi guys, Chief Spore here with Templar Security Specialists, and welcome to a rather annoying, frustrating, or potentially triggering video. Now, if you're a fan of nightmare tenants and hoarding videos, this slideshow is right up your alley. However, if those types of situations and scenarios disturb you, you may want to choose a different video to watch today. And guys, the reason we're putting this video out is because we want you to understand a little bit better about why it is so important to do background checks, reference checks, and of course, follow-up inspections, both pre-move-in and post-move-out, as well as, of course, eviction inspections and such when dealing with rental properties. Now, what we're going to be revisiting in this slideshow is a property inspection that I personally performed for a local landlord and his property manager over in the Peniel community here in Roane County, about 12 to 14 minutes away from our home office. And folks, I'm telling you, these images are disturbing. Now, aside from trying to avoid doxing anyone, one of the biggest reasons that I'm not able to give you the names of these now former tenants is because of the fact that there are potential criminal charges pending after this eviction. To start with, the landlord and members of his cleanup team, when they entered the property after the tenants had vacated, I'm going to estimate probably 15 to 30 minutes after the tenants vacated, once they were set and ready to start, they discovered in the kitchen area a small to medium-sized dog in absolutely horrendous condition. Of course, naturally, they contacted law enforcement and animal control via our local dispatch office. Animal control officer was able to make contact with the owner, the former tenants, the following day. Unfortunately, guys, as you'll see in the first couple slides, you'll see an open hole in the ground. We suspect that the tenants were opening a grave for the animal, because by the time our animal control officer located them and made contact, she was advised the animal had already passed. Now, guys, part of the harshest side of this isn't even the animal. Though the animal state is deplorable, don't worry, we did not include those images. Folks, aside from that, they also recovered what are suspected to be narcotics, as well as a potentially illegally altered firearm from the property, thus having to involve the Sheriff's Department and Animal Control. I believe Deputy Giles with the Roane County Sheriff's Department was the responding officer. Now, guys, unfortunately, this was a verbal agreement between the homeowner and the tenants. The tenants were, according to my understanding of their agreement, exchanging some labor on the property as far as cleaning up the lot and yard, as well as supposed to be making repairs to the property in lieu of a portion or all of their rent. As you see from these videos, they failed miserably in that respect, and thus the property manager was easily able to pursue eviction proceedings against them and do so in a very timely manner. And for that, I am very proud of our local magistrate's office here in Roane County. But what you'll notice throughout all of this debris and clutter and just general apparent hoarding, you will notice various safety concerns. One of those safety concerns, of course, being electrical wires literally ripped from the walls and wired directly into various appliances and fixtures. The microwave in the kitchen area was wired directly into the household electric. The cook stove was wired directly into the household electric. No receptacle, no plug-in, just simply the wires were pulled from the wall and it was wired in. The same as with a light over the driveway facing door entry. Additional to the suspected narcotics and the potentially illegal firearm, it was observed that the tenants had installed surveillance cameras. Okay. Now, we're security contractors and consultants. We specialize in knowing why and where when it comes to cameras and things like that. And guys, I'm going to tell you, the average residential security camera setup, most people want a camera on their entry doors. They want a camera on their garage. You know, the places where things of value might be stored and where they can keep track of the comings and goings of anybody entering or exiting their home. That was not the case with the cameras that we located. The cameras we located were in fact positioned, one on a light pole over the carport, the other on the corner of the house facing Spencer. And these cameras were angled in a manner in which they would be recording the driveway to the mechanic shop next door, which you can access this property from that mechanic shop. They're owned by the same party. And the light pole camera would have been focused on the other driveway. These folks weren't so much watching who was entering their home, but watching who was pulling onto the property. Again, that's not uncommon, especially with people involved in illegal activity. They're not really worried about who's coming in or out of their house. They don't want footage of that. What they want is documentation and an early warning when parties they may not want to deal with are entering the property, such as law enforcement. Okay, these two cameras were routed with haphazard wiring back to a small multiplexer type device in the main, I'm going to assume it was the main living area, if you can call that living. And that device, of course, was then wired to the TV or connected to a flat screen television. In one of the step-down areas off the kitchen that led to a bathroom where the washer and dryer were hooked up, it was clearly observed, and you'll see photographs in this slideshow of that, where the floor was absolutely covered in dried and molding animal feces. This is not, oh, we had the little dog behind the door for a few minutes while we were trying to get packed up. No, guys, this is something that occurs over a long period. This is a clear indicator to me and any reasonable human being that this animal was being locked in this area for prolonged periods of time, or the animals collectively were being locked in this area over prolonged periods, and no one was bothering to clean up behind these animals. They were left to stand in their own filth. Now, of course, with the condition of the property, again, I have to reiterate, this is after we came in to do the post-eviction 3 to 4 days after cleanup efforts had already started. As you see, there's a commercial dumpster that's been brought in, and just the general filth overall. But another concern that I want to bring to your attention is things like the wood stove that you will see in the images there. That wood stove, the stovepipe is not double wall, which means it's not up to code. It runs through the ground floor ceiling into the second floor, into a back room. Upon making my way upstairs, it was easily discovered that that room where that stovepipe ran through, there were cardboard boxes and other flammable materials located within a dangerous proximity to the heat radius of that pipe, again creating an absolute fire hazard. The exterior photos, you'll see a stovepipe coming out of the ceiling, and you'll see a metal 5-gallon bucket with the bottom cut out and it shoved down over the said stovepipe to act as some sort of rudimentary cap or flashing cap. Guys, none of that is safe. And the thing I want to reiterate here with all these images that you're looking at is this was an occupied dwelling. all of that filth, all of that disgusting condition, this was an occupied dwelling. And yes, guys, I get it. There's likely that somebody was in the middle of a mental health crisis and things like that. But please understand me when I tell you that's not my problem right now. My problem is trying to help you see what's going on here. And I want you to see the condition of this property because, again, guys, this landlord is out thousands upon thousands of dollars at this point. There are cleanup efforts that have to be made. There are obvious repairs that will have to be made. At this point, I don't know that they will ever be able to restore this property to a satisfactory, livable condition after the damage caused by these tenants. And folks, again, this just goes to reemphasize why we say that it is so important that you follow through with written leases and you insist upon property inspections and you insist upon reference checks and background checks. Again, at Templar, we do background checks. We are happy to do that for you, and we are more than happy to maintain reasonable costs. We charge an average of $49.95 for our background checks through Checker and a couple other platforms, depending on what's needed. We do provide these property inspections, photo and video, and they average starting between $100 and $125. In overall, with this particular property, I took over 100 photos. I was there for almost 3 hours. Beyond that, guys, just go through this video, watch the video, watch it again if you didn't get it the first time. Understand what you're dealing with here, folks. This is a nightmare tenant situation, and we're here to help you prevent these kind of things. If you'd like to learn more, by all means, reach out to us at sales@templarstrategicsolutions.com. Visit our website at www.templarstrategicsolutions.com, or give us a call at area code 304-591-9787.